Thank you so much for coming. My name is Wano Farah and I teach at INTI International University. In INTI, I teach courses like University English and also public speaking, which is why I'm here to talk about my paper on public speaking anxiety or English language anxiety. Now, I would like to start my presentation today by telling you guys or sharing with you guys their circumstances that we are currently in. Very obviously, because of the pandemic and economy, in terms of employment and job seeking has been very, very tough. Not only that, on top of that, apparently it seems that the level of English and also the communication skills portrayed by Malaysian graduates are at a very worrying state. Apparently, some of the main reasons onto why a lot of Malaysian graduates are unable to find good jobs is because of their communication skills and also their level of English. Now, this is not just portrayed in journal articles like this, but this is also evident in a lot of newspaper articles as well. So that is why in some tertiary level they are offering public speaking courses. As an instructor in public speaking courses, I do take very seriously in terms of presentation skills because I would like to improve on my students' confidence level and making them having to practice the English in a very safe environment. So that is why in some of the syllabus that we do cover for public speaking would include audience analysis, how to select topic, how to organize your speech, and also we also share with them some of the techniques that students can use to involve the audience into their speech. So as you can see here, these are some of the samples of pictures, some pictures that I have of my students presenting in a group where they take turns to present on a similar topic. This is a demonstration by my students on how to prepare some dish where they have to eventually demonstrate and also practice the language in a very authentic manner as possible. So this is also one of the efforts that tertiary level or university are currently doing to improve or to counter back the argument from employers. And basically, we're trying to fill in the gaps and help students to improve on their English level, not just to write some, academic essays or, writings, not just to write emails and also narrative essays, for example. But we also want our students to be able to communicate well with their colleagues and also to be able to present their ideas in front of their bosses. That being said, I would like to share with you guys, perhaps in a very more serious manner, what I would like to share with you guys in terms of language anxiety. When we learn as an educator or even as a linguist, I believe that the notion or the topic of language anxiety is not a new topic. This topic has been studied since a long time ago by a lot of linguists, a lot of educators, because we want to know how effective or what are the best way or the best practice to teach or to learn a new language. So, as you can see in the first research or one of the pioneering research on language anxiety was by Hartwitz and Cope in 1986. So it has been studied for a long time ago, and in recent studies or in recent literature, a lot of it are focusing on very more specific domains of language anxiety. For example, we're looking at anxiety in listening or anxiety in reading, anxiety in speaking. And in today's research, or in my research, I really very much want to focus on public speaking anxiety. Do students have public speaking anxiety? So that will be my aim for today. With that being said, I have formulated two research questions. The first one is, what is the nature of anxiety among university students who are enrolled in a public speaking course? Research question number two: how is anxiety reflected in each of the four main domains that constitute in public speaking anxiety amongst university students? To study or to help me to study the two research question, I have formulated or I have constructed an online survey. So what I did was I created a survey question based or adopted from different studies to help me to inquire on my study or my research. In the survey question, I have three different sections. The first section focusing on the demographic, where I want to know what is their first language, what's their background details. Are they from Malaysia? Are they not from Malaysia? How long have they been studying English? Yada 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 yada. A lot of on the learners themselves. But on the second section or section B, what I did was I adopted from a very specific scale or instrument called public speaking class anxiety scale. And this is a very special instrument that is used to measure students' anxiety in public speaking. So this study is actually quite new. It's from Yai Kong and Usha. It's a group of researchers from Thailand, and what they did was they try and construct one study or one instrument that focus on public speaking anxiety. So I adopted quite a number of items in in the second section to inquire the level of public speaking anxiety. And in the final section, in section C, I would like to know what are the causes of public speaking anxiety. So what I did was I adopt some questions from another study or another research by Raja in 2017. Basically, my participants are were my students. They are diploma students who were enrolled in a public speaking course. 40 of them, 21 male students and 19 female students. But they are all majoring in different courses, different fields. Some of them are in accountancy, some of them are in mass communication. Out of 40 students, 11 of them do have English as their first language, and 29 of them have English as their second language. So, as part of the demographic question, I also inquired the first language. So, we can see here 28% of them are having English as their first language. Majority of them have Chinese or Mandarin language as their first language. And then 8% of them have Malay language as their first language. And the rest would be the same 2% of Urdu, 2% of Tamil, and 2% of Amharic language. So I also tested out on the reliability or internal consistency, and the Cromba alpha reading was 0.847. So this is quite a reliable questionnaire or quite a reliable instrument that I used. So in order for me to inquire on the level of anxiety in public speaking among my students, I gave them a set of questionnaire, as I mentioned, and it is in a form of 5-point Likert scale. In order for me to classify if it's a high of public speaking anxiety or low public speaking anxiety, I'm using this cutoff point. So the cutoff point that I'm using here is 3.00. So by all means, any kind of reading, so any kind of mean that is above 3.00 is considered as high public speaking anxiety, whereas any readings that is below 3.00 is considered as low public speaking anxiety. So that would be how we want to classify if this is high or is it low public speaking anxiety. So from 17 items that I use in my second section, I managed to find out the overall means of all 40 students. And what I found was that the mean of the total or the overall mean for the public speaking anxiety amongst my students is 3.109. What it suggests is that it can be categorized as having high anxiety in public speaking. But since the number 3.109 is not very high from the cutoff point, that is 3.00, what it suggests to us as well is that respondent, the anxiety of them of in public speaking is not extremely high. It's still under the moderate, the cutoff point. So it's slightly above the cutoff point. So it's still considered as high, but not extremely high. Okay. So from the 17 items that I've shown you in the table before, we are able to classify into four different domains. We have communication apprehension, we have fear of negative evaluation, we have test anxiety, we also have general anxiety of the target language. Now, in our public speaking course, we do ask our students to speak and use English. So the medium of instruction, all of the materials, everything is being taught in English. So that is why we have here the domain of general anxiety of English language. And it's very interesting to found that among all four domains, actually, the students have fear or general fear of using the target language or using English in general, because the overall mean here is 3.469 as compared to different domains. Over here we have communication apprehension is only 2.918. Fear of negative evaluation is also almost the same, that is 2.909. And also test anxiety is 2.800. So what we can learn from this table is that in general, they have the highest domain would be that they actually have fear of using English, because yeah, they have fear in using English as the language itself. So what it also suggests to us probably is, if the students were to have presentation in their first language, they won't have as much fear as it is as compared to using English. So basically, the results do suggest that the students actually have fear of using or communicating using the target language, that is English language, instead of having the fear of speaking in public. And this finding is actually very interesting because previous studies by Raja, for instance, found out that most of the students actually fear of, being judged, or fear, or they're being nervous, extremely shy when they have to speak in public. So my finding found that they don't really have fear in public speaking, but they have fear in using English as a medium or the language of instruction over there. So that was quite an interesting finding over there as well. Now, I also further intrigued to find out if there are other causes of them having fear in public speaking. So they 69% of them said that they do have fear in public speaking, and they think it was majority due to lack of confidence. So what we can learn from here, basically, as an educator or as an instructor of public speaking course, I need to make sure that I emphasize, or I need to make sure that my classroom is safe for any kind of mistakes, so that they are able to gain back their confidence and to be able to learn more and practice more in the target language itself. We also asked them if there would be any difference if there are many people who are listening to their presentation, or perhaps a smaller audience size would eventually affect on their performance. And 73.8% do responded saying yes, audience size or the number of people do play a role in their public speaking performance. They also believe that by participating or having more public speaking activities, that will eventually help them to perform better in their presentation. And 71.4% of them agreed to this. Finally, a large number of percentage said yes, that they believe that if they are able to enroll in public speaking courses, or even seeking help from professionals, they think that their fear of public speaking could one day be overcome. So this is also a very interesting finding over here. So what we're seeing is that we're looking at the students' motivation onto improving from their fear of doing public speaking. So that will be all from me. Thank you so much all for listening. If you have any questions in regards to my presentation today, or if you have any kind of, um, you know, perhaps you would like to collaborate on any kind of papers, just drop me an email there. That would be my email address. Thank you so much all for listening and have a good day. Bye.